Having a child with a chronic epilepsy is one of the most tragic, grief-inducing, traumatising experiences that I could ever imagine. You know, I would not wish it on my worst enemy. It's so painful. Anyone that has children, you know, even the thought of it would make them feel upset, you know. But I have drawn a lot of positivity from it. I've learnt to be resilient. I've learnt to love more than anything. I've learnt not to sweat the small stuff. I've learnt to fight. I've learnt to hope. You know, I've learnt that he matters. My children matter to me more than anything, and so does my partner. And I think sometimes I remember meeting a woman in a cafe, and her husband sadly injured his spine falling from scaffolding, and he was, you know, disabled from it. And I remember, I'll never forget, she said to me, "But darling, we know what matters in life." My son was born perfectly well. He had his first refractory epilepsy seizures at 8 months old, where we were in hospital for 4 months. He only responded to intravenous steroids. We tried, you know, lots of anti-epileptics, lots of other drugs. He had no diagnosis. You know, doctors didn't know how to deal with him. It was very, very traumatic, very difficult time, and he continued to have these clusters of seizures until he was 4 years old. So he doesn't have seizures every day. He has clustering epilepsy, so they're just very big seizures, back-to-back seizures, but then sometimes he would go times without having any seizures. So it's a very, very unique condition in that sense. And then by the time he was 4, he was having clusters every 3 weeks. And then by the time he was 5, it was every week. So his condition was just getting worse and worse. So I just went onto the internet and started to Google natural methods of replacing steroids, natural methods of treating epilepsy, and cannabis just kept coming up. And I'll be completely honest, at first when I saw that I thought, well, that's just something that gets you high, it's not a medicine. And then I did more and more research. I looked at YouTube videos, I read, you know, books, I spoke to parents all over the world, I joined Facebook groups, CBD Facebook groups. I immersed myself in learning, and cannabis just kept coming up as something to use. And that's why in 2017, after raising money and starting our petition, we went and travelled to Holland to try medical cannabis with Alfie for the first time. When we were in Holland, we did 5 months. We worked with a paediatric neurologist. He was prescribed Bedrolite and Bedica, which is a high-strength full extract CBD product and a THC, indica THC product. And he had a very small amount of extra THC and mostly very high CBD. And after 6 weeks, he went 17 days without a seizure. And as we went on, he just went longer and longer without seizures. And what we also noticed is when he did have a cluster, they were much easier to stop. He got over them a lot quicker, and we needed to use a lot less pharmaceuticals. And I think, you know, that's what's really important to remember. Alfie has a very severe genetic epilepsy. It's not going to go away. It's not going to be cured. But what we have found is something that gives him an immense quality of life. I remember when we first went to see Alfie's paediatric neurologist in the NHS when we got back from Holland, and like my partner Drew said, he's like, "Why aren't you excited about this? You know, this product has stopped our child's seizures. He was having 500 seizures a month, and now he's not having any. You should be really excited about this." And you're absolutely right. I think a lot of it is fear, it's stigma. We've had a really effective anti-cannabis campaign for many years in the UK, and doctors have heard that and have read it. There is no education for medical students in the endocannabinoid system in a plant that is a medicine. That's to do with the fact that big pharmaceutical companies are, you know, basically producing single compound pharmaceuticals as medicines, and the cannabis plant doesn't fit into that model. It's to do with NICE expecting randomised controlled trials, and actually what I would love to see is NICE accepting the exceptionality of this plant and saying, okay, well, what framework can we create that makes it safe, that looks at observational data, that looks at the anecdote, because actually there's thousands of anecdotes and that becomes fact at some point, and that is really exciting data that should be being collected rather than being ignored. So I think there's lots of reasons, and mainly as well, I'm afraid to say that there's no one that seems to be in this current government that cares enough and actually wants to step above the parapet and go, do you know what, this is the right thing to do. For me, it's about ensuring that patients have access to medicine that is stable, that is safe, and that is affordable. I'd like to see NHS prescriptions, and that's what Mike and I work on a lot of the time. You know, that's the whole point of Maple Tree, is to try and develop companies who are going to be, you know, used by the NHS. But that is going to take time. That is going to take time, and until that point, let's try and make it available and affordable to patients.
My name is Sam Cannon and I am the founder of Beyond Green. On the 2nd and 3rd of December this year, the UN will vote on the World Health Organization's recommendation on the rescheduling of cannabis. This is a mammoth moment in time. Please like, comment and share these videos so that the truth can be told and that the planet and everybody on it can benefit from this truly, truly incredible plant once again. Thank you.